When someone you love attacks truth, think celestial and don't question your testimony. The Apostle Paul prophesied that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. There is no end to the adversary's deceptions. Please be prepared. Never take counsel from those who do not believe. Seek guidance from voices you can trust, from prophets, seers, and revelators, and from the whisperings of the Holy Ghost.
Hi everyone, Nemo here. Russell M. Nelson's talk from the recent October 2023 General Conference has sparked much debate and discussion online. Many who try to defend the more divisive things he said are offering clarifying statements and excuses, in the form of things like what he was actually trying to say was, but there is a problem with this. Russell M. Nelson is capable of qualifying and clarifying his own statements. And in fact, in this very talk, he did just that.
When I was a young intern, my income was $15 a month. One night, my wife Dancel asked me if I were paying tithing on that meager stipend. I was not. I quickly repented and began paying the additional $1.50 in monthly tithing. Was the church any different because we increased our tithing? Of course not. However, becoming a full tithe payer changed me. That's when I learned that paying tithing is all about faith, not money. As a full tithe payer, the windows of heaven began to open for me. I attribute several subsequent professional opportunities to our faithful payment of tithes.
He then went on to qualify this, but only in the written footnotes of his talk. This is not to imply a cause and effect relationship. Some who never pay tithing attain professional opportunities, while some who pay tithing do not. The promise is that the windows of heaven will be opened to the tithe payer. The nature of the blessings will vary. The footnotes for these talks are written at the same time as the talks themselves, so it isn't the case that he realised after giving the talk that it was going to lead people to believe in a cause and effect relationship, and therefore he clarified it using footnotes. He knew from the get-go that people would infer a cause and effect relationship, and instead of clarifying that in his talk verbally, in the medium through which the message would be initially received, he decided to bury it in the footnotes in the written format for plausible deniability. He's happy to let people believe that the cause and effect he implied is universal, so that they will pay tithing. But should he be challenged on it, he can point to the footnotes and say, I told you, your mileage may vary. But let me know in the comments below the like button. Do people often read the footnotes after the fact? How often do you or did you used to revisit the written conference talks and look at the footnotes? Regardless, given that general conference talks are first delivered in a spoken medium, written footnotes ought to be for attributing credit to quotes or ideas, rather than for qualifying statements, because those qualifying statements won't be received by the primary audience, at least not on the initial receipt of the address. Here's an example of Russell M. Nelson using a footnote for attribution.
Please do the spiritual work to increase your capacity to receive personal revelation.
The footnote to that comment? Russell M. Nelson's own April 2018 General Conference address. It's not enough that everyone else has to quote Nelson ad nauseum, he's even quoting himself. Even so, his use of the footnotes to provide clarifying statements does show us that he is capable, if not in the spoken moment, then certainly in the footnotes, of clarifying his statements of his own accord and adding nuance where necessary. This means that apologists and others online can stop trying to justify what he meant when he said,
Never take counsel from those who do not believe.
Because he has proven himself capable of making clarifying statements, and so the lack of such a clarifying statement in this instance shows that he made a clear statement and there is nothing else to be read into it. He truly wants members to not take counsel from those who do not believe. I don't need to explain to you the harm this will do in mixed faith marriages, and many online are reporting that their relationship with their believing spouse has deteriorated in the aftermath of this talk. But this is part of the broader in-group, out-group, us versus them narrative that is pervasive in the LDS Church.
President Russell M. Nelson has taught The time is coming when those who do not obey the Lord will be separated from those who do.
And so if you want to support me in continuing to challenge that narrative, as well as challenging the leaders of the church, $5 or $10 a month helps me keep this channel alive. The link is in the description, and on your way there, you can hit the subscribe button, which doesn't cost a thing.